Hi, I'm John Waterhouse, and welcome to the original Science of Mind as taught by Barbara Waterhouse. Tonight is class 11. It is the class where we begin the conversation about spiritual and mental healing. And of course, that is the core, the root of what Science of Mind offers the world, is an understanding of how the mind of spirit works and how we can use it. So using it means that we learn about this thing called spiritual mind treatment, about prayer from this particular perspective. And Barbara is genius as always at explaining and pursuing that. So I know you're going to have a great class, and everything about this is just going to be wonderful, I'm certain. So enjoy the class, and I'll see you at the end.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We always begin everything at Simply for Spiritual Living with a
Spiritual Mind Treatment.
Spiritual Mind Treatment is a handy-dandy 5-step course of affirmative prayer, and I will clue you into the steps as we do this. The first one, there is only one. There's a presence and a power, a life, a light, a mind, a creative force. It's spirit. It is all that there is. It penetrates, permeates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. It is absolute and infinite and self-existent. Breathe that one in. The second step is knowing that since that is all that there is, then we must be a manifestation, an individualization, a point of that one spirit. And so we are created out of God's stuff. We are divine. Right here and right now, we don't have to get anything or change into anything or do something different. It is what we are because it is what we are. And so the third step is to realize and affirm our true nature. We are God beings. We are spiritual beings. We are wise and intelligent. We are healthy, happy, whole. We are creative. We are powerful. That is who we are. And since that is who we are, then our lives reflect that in physical form. Our lives are prosperous and healthy, happy, joy-filled. We have relationships filled with love. And we are totally supported by life in whatever we put our focus upon. And then the fourth step is gratitude. Yay! Wow! We're amazing. Our lives are what we choose them to be. We are totally supported by all of life. And then we let it go because we know we have done our work in mind. All conditions are healed in mind. So we've done our work, we've known the truth, nothing else for us to do. The universe has it, we fling it out, and the only thing that can happen is the reflection of that back into form as our lives. And then we end it with, and so it is. Wonderful, wonderful. I finished today recording the first 6 lessons. Yay! I'm not going to do the special articles right now. I really want to get them for you on CDs, and my plan is that 2 weeks from today you will have those as my gift to you. It will also be up on the website. I'm already talking to Devon. There are many hours. Lesson 6 alone, not the introduction, not the recapitulation, was over an hour and a half. So there are many hours of recordings, and I'm trying to get those to fit on an 82-minute CD and get them to compress to the level where we can put them up on our website, and someone who still has dial-up internet in some other country can still get them to download to their iPhone. Really, you know, there are places that don't have running water and don't have toilets, but they have iPhones. So it's an interesting time we live on, but I'm going to capitalize on it. Thank you, Tricia. I'm very, very grateful. Tricia brings a playmate for Bliss on Monday nights, and she was driving me crazy.
She looked lovely. She looked lovely.
So that's happening. I'm very excited about it because there are 40 to 50,000 hits on our website every month. And so there are potentially tens of thousands of people around the world that can get the download of the audio recording of the book. It was an eye-opener to me when I realized we could not put the written books, there's a number of written books on the website in Word, that we had to put them up in a PDF file because the idea that everybody uses Word or has a Word appropriate app is very Western-centric, in that many, many people have no way to ever open up a Word file. But everybody can download Adobe Reader for free and open up a PDF file. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of when I'm doing these kinds of things. It's, I love you and I'm really happy to use you as an excuse to do all of this and get it out there and get it on CDs and everything. But there's somebody who's just starting to learn that they affect their lives. And they're just starting to figure that out, and they stumble across our website or a website where someone has taken these audio recordings, I'm not naive, and then put them on other websites, and they can listen to that. They can listen with a little MP3 player, they can listen on a phone, they can listen in all kinds of different ways, and they can, I know it's in English, but a lot of people do speak English, and they can hear these ideas for the very first time. I digress, I don't care. Take a moment and think back to when you first heard words like, you're connected with everything. There's a presence and a power within you that cannot be denied, that you have the power to create your lives whatever way you choose. I remember when I first heard those things, I could feel explosions going on in my brain. It was as if I always knew that, but I had never heard it said before. And so my vision is that somewhere out there in the big somewhere is that people are going to find these audio files and they're going to listen to them and they're going to share them, and it will facilitate the awakening of humanity. Susan.
I remember the words that I heard that really synced it for me. I had been hearing words, but I really got it. And it was, God is in you, more like the wave is in the ocean than the blueberry in the muffin.
Right, right.
It was Eric Butterworth.
Cool. Or that the ocean is in the wave.
Or the ocean in the wave.
Yes.
But not like, so you can take the blueberry out of the muffin, but you can't separate the ocean.
No.
Got it.
Good. You studied with Eric Butterworth. Good for
Did.
you.
Wow.
Yeah. Wonderful,
Yeah, I
wonderful.
used to go in every Sunday.
I did too.
Yeah. Maybe I saw you.
I tell you, it's a small world. I firmly believe that we travel in groups. We have one of our members finally demonstrated a child. She is in Texas. The baby has been born. And she was looking to adopt a child in Pennsylvania somewhere and found out that it was a scam, and the adoption monies had been collected from 7 or 8 people for a baby that who knows if it even existed or was ever going to be adopted. And she was very despondent and ended up speaking with her ex. And in speaking with her ex about the upset that she was going through, she thought she had a baby. The ex said, well, I adopted a little girl and she's wonderful. And her mother is pregnant with a second child that is not wanted. And so this is the baby that's being adopted right now. We travel in groups. So here are these 2 people, supposedly exes,
Yeah.
except they're raising siblings. There's nothing that can separate those ties that bind us. So that's a little happy, feel-good story in your community, and you will see the baby whenever we see them. I don't know, once somebody walks in with a newborn, usually there are all these people who grab it and start passing it around.
They don't get to see it for an hour.
So, pardon me, David?
They don't get to see it for another hour.
Well, I know, I think when Quest came in for the first time, Colleen was, I don't know where my baby is. So we're moving into lesson 3, which is the lesson on healing. And Elise, did you want to publicly state anything?
Sure. I went on a vacation over the past couple weeks and got engaged.
Yay! divine treatment or spiritual practice to create a relationship like this?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have my marriage as a specific goal, but definitely like the gratitude for that person every day.
That's
And I also do feel like I manifested my first free paid vacation as well. So.
Yay! I'm really happy to hear about that. That's the voyeurism aspect of Facebook. So we're moving into lesson 3 this week, and I just want to make sure that we feel pretty good. I am doing advanced science of mind on a first-year class, so I understand that. But do you feel pretty confident that you grasped the ideas presented in the book, or do you have any other questions before we take off onto the lesson on healing?
Maybe one.
Troy.
The book says repeatedly, there is only one law.
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
It's spiritual law. We call it by many different names. We can call it the law of attraction, the law of mental equivalence, the law of reflection. We can call it by all kinds of names, but there's only one law. And it's set in motion on an energetic level with actions, feelings, words, thoughts, or, if you want to get much more subtle, whatever happens before that. That sets universal law, spiritual law, divine law, it doesn't matter what you call it, that sets the one law in motion. And there was a whole conversation about this because a lot of the teaching curriculum is being revamped, thank you God, since I refuse to teach what's out there. And there was a whole conversation of is it spiritual laws or is it spiritual law? And the education committee went back and forth on that for months. Is there really more than one law? Or do we just have different names for the one law? Since we're trying to wrap our heads around something that is really out there to begin with. How does creation take form? How do things go from an energetic vibration into material form? How does that happen? I mean, even quantum physicists, they're guessing. They don't really know how it happens, so we say, well, it happens by spiritual law because it's no respecter of persons, places, or things. Anybody can do it. It reacts in the same way over and over and over again. If you think a certain thought, you're going to get a certain kind of a condition in your life, and if you keep thinking that thought, you will continue to get that kind of condition, and if you think a different thought, you'll get a different kind of condition. So it's scientific. It does the same thing over and over and over again, but really, nobody even knows how electricity works. You know, it's a vibration of molecules somehow. They can look at it and describe it, but nobody can really explain the power of electricity and how all of that is happening, and nobody can explain the manifestation of our lives. I don't care how lofty and how many titles they have, or Ramadamadamas on the end of their names, or whatever. We're all just guessing. But the thing is that it happens over and over and over again for any and everybody, and always works the same. So for me, that's the description of what we would call a law, and there's only one. There's only one. And it's only an aspect of spirit. Remember, my handy dandy circle. This middle part we call law, but really that's not the blueberry and the muffin, that's the ocean and the wave. You can't separate law from the creative process, from spiritual awareness. You can't separate it from the manifest universe. It's an aspect of the divine. Does that make sense? And someone was asking me, what's up with subjective mind? Do you want to ask your question?
Yeah, I'm tripping over the word mind.
Mm-hmm.
Is mind God?
Could be.
What's my mind?
Mm-hmm. You are
What
God.
is law of mind?
An
Is that
aspect.
subjective?
Yes,
I'm just
because
tripping over
we're not consciously aware of the law, because the law is subject to, it says your wish is my command, it takes whatever we give it and brings it into form. The soil doesn't say I'm gonna grow the tomatoes but not the weeds, it just takes whatever is there and brings it forth into physical form. So the law is subjective in that it is, and I'm going to use words that I don't really like, but I'm going to use them for description. It is unconscious in that we're not aware of the law. It is subconscious. It is subject to. It does whatever it is we want. But that's the place, let's say we've got our little physical form bodies in here. Here's somebody in like Los Angeles. And somebody way over here in France. Because of this part of us that's not physical, we can connect up here. We can connect either by getting a feeling of our friend and having the phone ring. Anybody do that?
Yeah.
I was just thinking about you and you called. We can connect by a little mental telepathy. People who have had some kind of trauma, their close friends and family know it, even if it's the middle of the night. We can connect through spiritual mind treatment, which is one person intentionally thinking about another person in terms of wholeness and health and happiness, that kind of thing. And because of that, not only are we aware of it, but it actually affects our lives. It actually shows up in physical form. How many people have had a spiritual mind treatment from someone else and had it demonstrate in your life? Yeah. That's because of this thing that we call subjective. And Ernest liked the word mind because he said we live in an intelligent universe. It's not a brain. The brain is the tool of the mind. There is a thinker behind the thought. If it was about your brain, you could cut it out, put it in a thing of chemicals, and it would keep on thinking. You could put electrodes in it, and it would keep on thinking, but it doesn't. So it's not the brain, it is that awareness. We have a body, but we're not our body. We have thoughts, but we're not our thoughts. We have emotions, but we're not our emotions. There is something that we are that has these things, but is greater than even our idea of ourselves, greater than our experiences, and that's what he's saying is the subjective aspect of life. And that's why we started off in the very beginning with the circle on the absolute. This is the big one. This is God and the law, and down in the body part it's universes and life and all the big things. But then down in the bottom, wherever we are, we say this is us. We reenact the same creative process as spirit. So here we are, and so we've got thought, mind, law, and then our affairs. Our physical body, our bank account, our relationships, the experiences that we have, where over here on a universal level we've got universes and nebula and life forms and ETs and all kinds of stuff on a really big level. But he calls that middle section subjective because it is subject to whatever is given it. Now the interesting thing is that this really isn't a little piece inside of the big one. It's not a blueberry. Thank you for that, Susan. This is the same. And so whatever we are moving from our physical awareness and meditation or whatever up to here, we are also touching the universal. Because they're laid on top of each other. It's just our use of it. It's our experience of it. Our limiting thoughts about who we are actually is what takes the big one and shrinks it down to what we think we can handle. But whenever you really let go in a meditation, can't you just feel it? You leave yourself, you leave even that greater sense of the I am that we are, and you can just shoot out somewhere and touch something That's amazing. And that's going from the individual to the universal. And he says all of that happens in that middle section called subjective mind. Old words, granted. That's why I try to shrink it down into law. But really, it's so much more than just a law. It's intuition, and it's a psychic phenomenon, you know, it's anything that's happening outside of physical reality. That's our portal, that's our doorway to touching the infinite. Is that helping?
Yeah, I think what I'm beginning to sort of get is that all these interpenetrate.
Oh, they do, they're all the same thing.
I know, but I've been seeing them.
No, it's the elephant. It's
I know.
what's the leg, what's the
Yeah.
side, what's the
Right.
tail, what's the trunk. Let's try to describe that which is indescribable, and let's try to use words which don't work anyway, so that we could try to get something. Shari.
Yes. I guess what I'm confused about is that there is I think how the book put it was a infinite intelligence, and it says there is an intelligence inherent in the universe which knows what it is doing and how to do it, and which knows why it does it. So my question is, if the infinite intelligence acted on the universe,
Acted on itself and
Acted on
created the
itself.
universe out of itself.
then is it still acting?
Oh,
Which
sure.
means, so do I manifest and it manifests?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it had to stop manifesting and it was
No,
already done.
I think the table's manifesting.
Okay.
I think everything in the universe and beyond is creating and creative. But then I'm a little weird. I mean, I think the table's quite alive, all plastic and steel of it. It
So-
has a different reference point than we would think alive means, but it's still quite alive.
So could the infinite be acting on my life?
Through you, yes.
Okay.
And the way that the infinite absolute acts on your life, it says, yay, Sherry.
Sorry.
Shari, yay, Shari, yay, yes, let me whisper, go for your dreams, I've got your back, we've got it all handled, that's not big enough, have something better. The infinite is always pushing on us to lift us, because all of life has to be evolving, has to be expanding to have an infinite, otherwise you'd have a line where the infinite stops because it didn't expand anymore, time and space wouldn't be here, we would all not be here, so the infinite's always pushing on you, and you can feel it. You know how much harder it is to hate somebody than to love them? It takes a lot of energy to go against that force of spirit. David.
I love visual explanations that work for me, and go back to the ocean. In the animated movie Finding Nemo, the fish have to get across an entire ocean that are trying to find somebody, and they're working hard, it's struggling, until they come across this
Turtle.
column of turtles
Yeah, the
that are
turtle
coasting
moves.
at a high-speed current,
Right,
not even swimming, and going 10 times faster than they were,
right.
because the infinite provided the current, and you just
Right.
have to fall into it.
When we can stop struggling, and that's where your lack of judgment comes in. Stop struggling, stop fighting, and open up to some kind of a natural lift that is our spiritual nature. We will find ourselves lifted up. That's what Sri Aurobindo meant when he said, transcendence, rising up. Transcendence transmutes. It does not rectify. It takes you right out of the slow fighting the current into the high-speed current. It lifts you up. It makes everything ready. It puts you where you're going. Even sometimes if consciously we're not aware that we wanted to go there. Let's say we just wanted to be happy and all of a sudden we're moving to Asheville. Well, who knew what that was about? I never said I wanted to move to Asheville. I just said I wanted to be happy, and then here I am. So there is that part of us that's greater than our thoughts that will help us. It will lift us. It will push us. And if we can stop fighting it and simply go back to the truth, which is that spirit is all that is it is what I am. I am supported and loved and on my right track. I'm open to divine wisdom. I do what I need to do. I am where I need to be, and all is well in my world, instead of, I thought I was going there today and then they canceled and now I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch The Price is Right and eat bonbons, you know? So if we would stop that and just go, there's only good in this, I'm gonna do gratitude for it. This is a blessing, and that is the only thing I'm gonna take out of this, because I'm gonna put that affirmation of a blessing in there. By saying it's a blessing, it turns into a blessing, and we find ourselves lifted. And then people look at us and go, wow, you're so lucky. Everybody could be lucky if we would stop fighting it. Because there's something that will take us. If you find yourself struggling in life, you are resisting love and prosperity and joy. You're not making it. You don't make that stuff with struggle. You don't fight your way into happiness, fight your way into love. So if you're struggling, you're missing that greater I am that you are. And that happens in here, which is also right over here, because they're on top of each other. Because the infinite, in order to exist, has to exist in its entirety at every point simultaneously. You can't be a little piece in the big God circle. It has to be all of it, or nothing. And since we're here, it's all of it. Does that make sense? I encourage you over the next couple of weeks to spend some time, whatever it is, doing whatever you do, to let go of what you think. What you think you are, what you think is supposed to happen, and just see if there's not something else that doesn't have any words and very probably doesn't have any pictures or lights or sounds. It's not angels singing, but it's something. And the way you get to that doorway is inside of yourself. So spend a little time, whatever it is. People talk about the runner's high, you know, where they hit the block and then they break through. Well, they're not thinking, okay, I'm going at X amount of speed and I've gone so much. They're just running. And I think that there's a point where they just surrender to the motion of the run. And they just do that. And it's like a meditation. It's like a walking meditation. So you don't have to get all, you know, holy and sit in the lotus posture and light a candle and all of that. But see if you can make some time to let go of what you think. And in letting go of what you think, see if there's not something else. It would be a good thing for you to do. Good. David, why do I have feedback?
Some very mysterious energy in these rooms.
We don't understand electricity yet.
I wish I had an answer for you, but there's just
I
changes
think
in
it's
energy.
just me because I'm the one who always gets the feedback. Okay. Pardon me? I'm electrifying. Never too high vibration. Any other questions before we move on to healing? Because healing is really important. Not only are we going to talk about physical healing, which we are going to talk about a lot, we're going to talk about healing other areas of your life. So Ernest, are we good? Yeah. I want to make sure we've got that as a foundation before we move on. We might have a healer come to the center.
Another one?
Yeah. But Ernest said, there's nothing to heal. Only truth. Only truth to be revealed. So if we are demonstrating something on the outside that is not in alignment with our perfect, vibrant health, let's say we have an illness. What does that mean? There's nothing to heal, only truth to be revealed. I've got a fever, I've got green snot coming out of my nose, I feel horrible, I can't keep anything down. Of course there's something to heal. I want my body healed. Quan.
That demonstrates an absence of love and fear is present, or negativity.
Right, it could be, that illness could be a manifestation of some kind of negativity, some kind of fear, or an absence of love. So if the statement is there's nothing to heal, only truth to be revealed, what does that mean? What kind of truth?
It means,
Sorry.
it means don't look at your condition, start looking at your causes.
Don't look at your conditions, start looking at your causes. Absolutely. What kind of a shift in causation would we want to have? Let's go ahead and look at the cause. I didn't want to go there, but we will. Okay. I'm sick. Condition. Cause. We've got fear, lack of love. Did you say something else, Quan?
Negativity,
Negativity, yes.
maybe stress.
No, let's not go on. I just wanted to make sure I got all of the ones that you had said. Negativity, how many people know who Louise Hay is? Really? Louise Hay is a religious science minister just like me. She got all these things out of the textbook. Ernest has all of these things in the back of the textbook. So Louise Hay would say something like, if you have a back issue, you must be burdened. And you know, most of her affirmations are, I love and accept myself just the way I am. And brings us back into alignment with who we are without any guilt trips or shame trips being laid on us. And people get better. So if we've got fear, lack of love, and negativity, and we want to change the cause to, what do we want? We don't want, do we want sick?
No.
No, don't want sick. So what do we want?
Happiness.
Health. Let's just do health.
Okay.
We want health. So if fear has made us sick, what do we want to make us healthy?
Love.
Love.
It's almost.
It is all the same. What else? If we've got lack of love, if we've got negativity and it's made us sick, what do we want?
Positivity.
Positivity. I remember back in the 80s and 70s when the self-help books were really hot. Remember that? And it was such a revelation for people to see that some people who had really big deal illnesses were actually using those to manipulate the people around them, to punish the people around them. And it really helped get a different take on this, because up until then it was, oh, you poor baby, God must really hate you and is torturing you on your way out. And it shifted that to, well, what payoff are you getting from this? How are you having everyone treat you in a certain way that you weren't getting when you were healthy? Do you even want to be healthy? And an amazing number of people said no. No, I'm holding on to my disease. It's really working for me. So if we've got this idea of health and we want to create that, we have to look at all kinds of different aspects of what that means to us to be healthy. You know, if getting over this illness means that we have to go to work, somebody finally figured out a way not to ever have to work again, then why would we want to be healthy? If being healthy meant that we had to stand up for ourselves in a relationship, and that was terrifying to us, why in the world would we want to do that? So one of the things we do, Valerie, is we come here and we start looking at this idea of happiness. Is it possible to be happy? Yes. Can I be happy? Yes. Do I want to be happy? And you know, we lose a lot of people on that. We do. People leave. They write us amazing letters and say, you don't understand how bad I have it. You don't understand. Nobody. Troubles I've seen. They say, you don't know that I'm different. I'm different, and I can't be happy, and I can't get on top of my problems. And so that's a very big question. Do you want to be happy? Do you want to be healthy? Yes, Becky?
The big thing is people refusing to take the responsibility of making themselves sick in the first place.
Right, right.
And I think that's where a lot of people get caught up in this type of belief system, that, you know, we are all responsible for the things that occur in our life because of our faulty thinking or our lack of love or lack of understanding. So you get somebody who has a condition that they've been struggling with for a while, and you say, well, no, you know, maybe there's something in your life that, you know, you need to look at. They don't want to.
Well, and to be generous with them, perhaps they haven't had the tools to look at that. And when it's presented in such a way that says, boy, you're really screwed up, you created this disease, and now I want you to suck it up and take responsibility for it, it can be a little more difficult. To look at things like, your mom had this disease, and now you have this disease. Do you think there's some kind of way that you're showing your love for your mother by having this disease? Is there some kind of loyalty going on that you would stand with her in this disease? And sometimes if you go that way, even if the mother's gone, if you go that way, then it gives them a little bit more space to look at it. But it is not easy to look at your stuff. And to lay a bunch of trips on people that say, instead of you're responsible, you're to blame, which is the first place people go. I never said you were to blame. I always said you were responsible. And if you're responsible for creating it, guess what? You can create something new. If you're not responsible for creating it, you're screwed. I mean, you just can't do anything about it. You can't get out of it. Juan?
I think it's a matter of perspective. I mean, if you put the word joy in place of happiness, I mean, happiness has like a connotation of duality. I mean, if you're happy, then there's the other people can say, well, I'm happy, and then the next minute they're disappointed, and then they're sad, and then it's just...
Right, and you don't think that that's possible with joy?
Yeah, I'm saying joy is, I prefer the word joy over
Okay.
happy because...
Okay, so you
It's a
prefer the word joy?
Yeah,
Did I
because if
have happiness on here?
happy
Okay.
is like sort of a different definition
For you.
for me, yeah.
Yeah, for you. If we think that our happiness is contingent upon something outside of ourselves, then yes, we can go up and down. But also, if we think that we can experience joy when certain things are conducive to that, either we've been to a silent retreat for a week, or we're on a cleanse, or we've had a peak experience, then that too can go up and down. But whatever words work best for you, please translate everything into something that makes sense to you. Yes, Christine.
Is it ever possible that the sickness is the way to the truth?
Sure.
Not that we don't want to
Sure.
be sick, but sometimes it's part of the process.
Of course it is. Everything is part of the process. And when we use that which we've created as a stepping stone to expansion, everything's the way to the truth. Right. David, just turn me down a little bit. I think it's a little too hot. So, nothing to heal, only truth to be revealed. What is the truth that would be revealed that would heal? I'm rhyming.
I know, right?
Go.
Rick,
That we're already whole and perfect.
we're already perfect, whole, and complete. What else?
Health is our natural nature.
Health is our natural nature. The same thing as we're already perfect, whole, and complete. What else? Let's stretch it out to different ideas. Yes,
Connected to God.
that we're connected.
Are God stuff.
We're made out of God stuff. We're connected. There's something bigger that going on than just this physical pain or this physical experience or this physical condition. What else? Let's get all Louise Hay on me. Juan.
Enlightenment or perspective,
To transcend to a higher perspective.
yeah.
Yes, yes. What else?
That I don't have to be sick in order for my children to get their lives together.
Yeah, that I don't have to use illness as a way to either pay my dues, punish myself, punish them, motivate them to have what I think they should have, which would then make me what?
Then if I get well, then I may not help push them to,
Right, but let's say they get their lives together, and then what does that give you?
then I can get well then.
Because what has it given you?
Satisfaction.
Let her say it. What do you get? Your kids have their lives together, they're doing fabulously.
So what would it give me?
Yeah, right?
Happiness.
You're happy.
There you go.
Yes.
You're happy, you feel like you're a good mother, you feel like you've done your best,
Right.
you know, you've taken care of them.
Oh, that means I'm a good mom.
That I'm a good mommy, so consider that you can be a good mommy without having to get sick.
Which, yes.
You know, yeah. So consider that because you are perfect, whole, and complete, which was Rick's first one, that there's nothing that you've ever done that you need to be punished for. There's nothing that you need to be ashamed of. That you've never hurt anyone. And no one has ever hurt you. So you leave the tit-for-tat world of defensiveness and blame, and you move into an idea that says, because I am created out of the presence of spirit, not only am I perfect, whole, and complete, but I am loved. I am precious. I am supported. I am lifted up. I always have been and I always will be. I tell you, that will heal more things that have to do with physical bodies or the body of your affairs than you would imagine. You don't have to go for that exact, what did I say, what did I think, who cares? You said that and you thought that because you moved into an idea of, I'm not a good mother, I'm not perfect, whole, and complete, health is not my divine birthright. Gosh, my divine birthright is, the pigs and the squalor, and that's why I ended up sick, or whatever. That we carry this stuff around with us that says we are less than beings of light and less than beings of love. And when we can move into that idea, and I tell you, spiritual practice does that. We let go of thought, which says, this is my story, this is my identity, this is as far as I'll ever go. I know I'm going to the Center for Spiritual Living, and so I inched that up a little bit, but still there's a limit as to really what can be manifest here. I don't care what Barbara says. We can only do so much. I'm only human. All of that stuff. And we let go of that because that's in the mental realm, and we open up to an experience. And most spiritual peak experiences are experiences of pure love. Pure love. And so when you feel that presence of spiritual love, God love, divine love, and it fills you up and kind of washes you clean, I think that's where the whole being reborn concept comes from, where the baptism stuff comes from. It is a way of being filled up and washed clean because there's a higher reality to who you are that heals. That heals, whether it's your liver or your foot or your car or your job or your attitude. It heals. Most people create problems in their lives, struggle and limitation, illness, poverty, unhappiness, all of that, because they feel like that's a good reflection, a good fit for who they see themselves to be. And if they feel like they've done something wrong, if they feel like there's something that they're going to be punished for.
You know what, you are wearing a lot of crystals. I wonder if that has any effect on it.
I'm not moving.
Something is.
Jupiter, Independence Day.
Sunspots.
So if they feel like there is something in them that is bigger and better than what they did or what they think they did, they can go to a different place. So the truth of who you are that is to be revealed is what? If it's smushed, if it's dry, throw it away. It's like not drinking the last of the milk and just waiting for someone to find it and gag on it. So, what is the truth to be revealed?
I am love.
Hell. I am what?
Healthy.
I am God. I am love. I am perfect.
I am health.
I am one. Let's not even state the health part. Let's move to a greater reality. I am perfect. I am pure. I am spirit. I am light. I am love. I am joy. those kinds of things that take us out of the world of the relative, which is the manifestation of either health or disease, and takes us back up to the realm of cause, which is the bigger cause. Not just, I know that every cell in my body is healthy, but why? Because I am one with all that is. Well, what does that mean? It means I'm created out of love. Love is what I am. It means that I'm a being of light. It means that I am divinely guided and directed and supported and uplifted by all of life. It means that I am pure. I am perfect. That's why when you join the center, I give you a white rose. Because there's nothing that you can ever do to tarnish your spiritual purity. You can't. You're pure, you're perfect. I don't care what's happened. I don't care what anybody did to you. I don't care what you think you did to anybody else. All you did was dance. You didn't do anything wrong. And when you do that, when you go there, and that's why Louise Hay had such wonderful success, and a lot of the people that she was working with were gay men who had just come out. A lot of people had been disowned by their families. They had been ostracized by society. They were carrying heavy burdens of guilt, and they got sick. And when she would tell them, it's wonderful for you to be who you are, for your sexual preference to be the way that it is, that God still shows up as you. You are loved, you are perfect, you are whole, you are complete. They would get better. They would get better. I remember when the first discernible recovery from full-blown AIDS was written up, and I don't know if it was Life magazine or it was one of the big magazines when we used to get our news from magazines. And it was like, the impossible has happened. And then as soon as that happened, people started having healings. And Louise Hay, all the time, she would have her hay rides. Literally, she would have a wagon with bales of hay, and people would go and they would sing and they would do affirmations. I love myself, I accept myself just the way I am. I love myself the way I am. You know, they had whole songs about that so that they could move out of a sense that causes illness, which is fear, feeling like they'll never be loved, negativity, there's something wrong with me, and they moved into a state that says, no, I am pure, perfect love. I am God in form. I am a spiritual being, and everything that I do is wonderful. And their bodies would heal. That energy changes things. Bruce Lipton talks about the cell. He's an amazing biologist. And he talks about the cell, and he says the cell can be in only one of two states. It can either be growing or it can be defending itself. And if the cell defends itself against negativity, you don't do anything right, you don't deserve to have a good life, it's never going to happen for that. The cell is defending itself from a chemical reaction in the body based on the thoughts that we think, and it gets sick because it's not growing and healing itself and fixing the little cell things that need to be fixed. But when you stop that and go back to a state of rest and joy and love and peace, then the cell, no matter what has been introduced to the body, gets very busy fixing itself. And it doesn't matter if you have all of the nutritional components, it doesn't matter if you've got the medicines or any of that stuff. The cell will fix itself. But you only have two choices. If you're feeling like you're getting sick, are you defending yourself, at which time you might as well call into work because you're going to be sick? Or are you allowing yourself to feel that state of love and have your cells grow and repair themselves? So that works on a physical level. What do you think happens on the world of your bank account? Oh, well, Barbara, the body's alive. My bank account's not alive. Really?
The table's manifesting.
Yes, yes. Yeah, you guys are all going to go, and the tables are going to be having their chat going, wow, wasn't that a great class? And they actually acknowledged us, and I had great people with me. I was the law of attraction bringing my people in. So how do you think you have you experience healings in things like your bank accounts? Is it based on the economy? Is it where the interest rates are? Is it the bankers?
It's knowing the power and the presence of all possibility.
Knowing the power, the presence of all possibilities. Whose bank account is it?
God's.
It's God's bank account. So if you can move there and move into this state of, and it's good to be a little self-honest. Do I really deserve that I should have more than enough that I need? You know, children are starving in China, or they used to be starving in China. Now I'm sure they're starving in other places, or don't be sure of that. It was an old story that had children starving. Now every child on the planet is fine. Thank you. I had to bring myself into alignment with what I believe. So when you go, do I deserve to have this? What can keep you from doing a total embrace of that and keep you not having enough? What kinds of thoughts can that be? What can be the cause to your condition?
Fear of lack.
Fear of lack? What kind of thought?
Negative thought.
What kind of negative thought?
There's not enough.
A belief that there's not enough?
I don't deserve.
Unworthiness, I don't deserve it. Remember, we're trying to take this up to the highest level that we can. So can I speak to you in dualistic languaging for a moment? Just forgive me, whoever's watching this. If we were to use the paradigm that we are children of God, which I don't believe, but if we were to use that paradigm, that we are children of God and God has it all, because God made it all, so God's got it all, right? Then we are those thought forms or those beings that are set to inherit all of it. You know, we are in line to the throne, if that's the way you want to look at it. We have within us that willingness of life to give to us all that there is. We do not live in a sadistic universe where there's some kind of a deity dangling more than enough in front of us and then snatching it away at the last second. Here, you can have it all. Ah, no, ha ha ha. We don't live in that. What we live in is a universe of forward motion, expanding energy with an abundance that is beyond our wildest dreams, even if we just look at the prosperity on this planet. An abundance beyond our wildest dreams that is constantly giving to us. Giving to us. That's the way life has to be. It's giving to us and giving to us. And frankly, sometimes all we have to do is crack the door a little bit to have all that pressure of goodness and abundance and prosperity and love and joy just throw the door open in our lives and just come in. All we have to do is crack it just a little bit by knowing that we deserve it. Well, how can you say you deserve it? I deserve it because God and I are tight. We are tight. For that matter, we have the same thing. So whatever it is, I already have. Of course I deserve it. And take a deep breath. One of my favorite ideas, you cannot screw this up. You cannot screw this up. I don't care how hard you try. I don't care how long you drag it out. You cannot screw this up. You will experience life as abundance and joy and love and health and wholeness and happiness. It will happen. Your choice is only when are you going to crack the door and how do you do that? Well, I can't have enough because one time I took what I thought was mine and somebody got really mad at me and I got beaten and I'll never do that again. I'll always wait till someone hands it to me, and because of that I've been waiting all my life. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. You did what you did. That's all. It's very Zen, very Buddha. Whatever is, is. No judgment, no good, no bad, no right, no wrong. You just did what you did, and now what are you going to do? So I did what I did, but right now I want to live in abundance. I want to live in prosperity. I want to feel the support of life. I want to have a healing. Well, to do that, you have to reveal the truth of who you are. Yes, you are prosperous. Yes, you have more than enough. But let's rise that up. Raise that up to I am loved. I deserve to have it all. Not because of what I do, not because of how I do it, but just because I am. I deserve this. I get to have this. Some would even go so far as to say that on the spiritual path, you have a responsibility or even an obligation to manifest health and wholeness and prosperity in your life, that is your job, to have as much as you can, to expand as much as you can, and bring the rest of the race with you. It's your job to take it. Not as in, I can take it, but I can take it. And I can take more and more and more and more. Because you are a spiritual being of light and love. You get to have a wonderful relationship. You found it through gratitude. I love that, Elise. If you want something to grow in your life, be grateful for it. Be grateful for how life supports you. Be grateful for how you feel. Wonderful. Be grateful for all of the things that are happening in your life, and you will find that that grows. And leave forever this idea that there is any purpose in you being, in you struggling, or life being hard, or you having to do what you don't want to do. You know, if you're going to do it, want to do it. If you can't wrap your head around wanting to do it, then stop doing it. It'd be better for you to live out on the curb than to do what you don't want to do. First step, want to do it. Be grateful for it. And if you can't do that, stop doing it, because doing what you don't want to do is poison. It'll make you sick. It'll make you poor. So you are the doorway through which the universe loves itself enough to enjoy the fruits of this world. It's just how big is your door? Are you going to open it wide? Are you going to crack it? Are you going to nail it shut? You're going to push the dresser up in front of it? And if you do that, ask yourself why. What did somebody tell you once upon a time that you believe? That you don't deserve it, that you're not worthy, that you shouldn't, that you should be punished? You know, we have some really weird thoughts going around that people give to other people. None of that is true. The basic affirmation that Louise Hay uses to heal everything, no matter how many books she writes, or you can look up the difference between a pain in your left shoulder and your right shoulder, is always, I love myself, I accept myself just the way I am, which is to get us to open up to our spiritual reality, i.e. Aurobindo, transcendence transmutes the whole thing. It doesn't rectify it, it doesn't fix it, it doesn't give you a tea to fix the problem, it doesn't give you a medicine, it changes the very nature of it. It transmutes the essence of the problem into no problem. Transcendence, rising up in consciousness, connecting with that spiritual truth that we are. That's the truth that when we reveal it, heals. Got it? Let's take a break.
Hello again. And I'm knowing that you had a fantastic time with Barbara, and that you're feeling full and ready to move out into the world with a clarity of consciousness and spirit. And with that, let's close this class with the spiritual mind treatment. So join me in knowing the truth that there is a presence and a power. It dwells everywhere and always. It transcends time and space, and it is right here and right now. So knowing that that is so, I speak my word with the word of the divine, knowing that all is in perfect order, all is unfolding as it must for the highest and best of every single one of us. I know that we are aware of that, and that we live from that understanding in all that we say, all that we think, and all that we do. So we move from this class into whatever is next in our lives, knowing that we are fully prepared to do whatever we are called upon to do, and that all is truly well and good. And with that knowing, in gratitude and love, I simply let this be the truth, right here, right now, and always. And so it is. Have a fantastic week. We'll see you again. Bye now.